Okay, so the last part is going to be the assembling the entirety of the fan that we've made in the previous parts of the video. So we go into assembly once you start up SolidWorks. It'll be a second, but when it opens up, it'll ask you to import the parts wherever you have saved those individual parts once you made them, and then obviously closed SolidWorks. So these are the individual parts. I've already assembled it, but I'm gonna just obviously for the video, I'm gonna do it again. To open. So these are all the individual parts. They're going to appear here in this document. Now they're gonna appear at your cursor. You're gonna have to click to place them one by one. Make sure to place them at different points. Place them here. Place them here, and then place them. No need for this exact arrangement, just placing them a bit far away from each other. So now moving forward, I will right click this and say fix this. And I will right click on this. Sorry, I didn't right click properly, and say float. Next thing we will do is go to assembly in this top left ribbon. And in this assembly, there is the option to insert components. Click this, and it will again open this folder wherever you have it stored. It might not open it. You can just go manually and open the folder, whether it be desktop or wherever you've stored it. We need another one of the fan shroud, the grill that basically will sit behind the um, sit behind it. So obviously all fans have two grills. So now we'll start assembling this from this point of view. First things first, we will select this command called mate. This, you see that drop down menu, click that, and from that we will, just a second, let me just rotate the motor. The motor is facing the wrong way. This shaft should be facing this way. So we will say use this command. There's move component. There's a drop down menu. We'll go into rotate component, and in the rotate component we'll click this and just simply rotate it so that it's slightly facing the direction. Let me just do this. Yes, this is what, this is how we want it. Same with the fan. The fan is facing the wrong way. This side is the front of the fan. So we'll just grab it by the blades and face it somewhat appropriately, not perfectly, but you'll get the hang of this once you start doing this. But anyway, let's start assembling this. The deselect and select this again, the mating application. In this, the fan blade's already selected. We just deselect that. Whatever the last thing is, once you select the mate command, it it selects, pre-selects the last thing you touched. So you need not to do that. We click on the motor. It's not selected for some reason. Okay, now it's selected. This face of the motor is selected. And then you click, this is the place where I want it to be. Okay, now it's saying what relation you want these two to have. So obviously this is the motor is a circle, and then this curve in which it's going to sit, the stand, is also a circle. So we say that we need a concentric relationship. This is concentric, two circles with it, means the centers of these, the circle of the motor and the circle of this curve, are both at the center, meaning it perfectly sits uh in the stand. So we say, we select this concentric and then we press OK. Yeah, after that we still need to align this properly. So we click on this edge of the motor. Okay, it's selected. It's already saying edge if you see it in the left window. And then select this edge of the stand. Now it's completely aligned and perfectly sitting in the stand. it's already pre-selected coincident, meaning that both of these lines should be touching each other at all times. So we say, okay, this is what we need. And now it's not going to, no matter what you do, it's not going to move in any other direction other than this. So you see that the top button for the rotation control was in the wrong place, so you can just manually drag it here, and now it's fixed. So one of the things that you're going to notice in the parts that you've created following my video is that this shaft is smaller than it actually right now is. This shaft is actually very small. So once you place the fan on top of it, the fan is almost touching this face. So what you can do in that obviously situation is say, okay, go obviously escape out of the mate command, and all the parts that you've created. This is the tree for the shroud. This entire shroud, this entire tree, all these commands that we carried out to make this tree are present here. This is for the blades. This is for the fan motor. So all I did was simply go in, open the fan motor housing, and scroll through the commands individually until the shaft is highlighted. This is the command where I use this to basically extrude the shaft. You say click here, just a second, click here, and it allows you to edit sketch, edit feature, right? You can just go in and increase the value. The current value that was entered there was, I think, 70 or 80. I increased it slightly more, just making sure that the back of the shaft, because it's a mid-plane extrude, so if you remember that this shaft is increasing in this way as it is also increasing behind, so you might be able to see it through there you can see it's coming into the vent, so it doesn't, just make sure that it doesn't come out. All you have to do is go into the uh this extrude, and increase the value. You can see the shaft, how far it's going in, but it's not touching the back. So you can just increase the value. When you do this, it's going to ask to save the assembly somewhere. You can just save it anywhere you want, and then proceed to change the basically length of the shaft so that the fan sits perfectly in such a way that it does not contact this shroud or the grill. Now moving uh, onto the actual assembly, let's assemble the remaining. Go to the mate command, and in the mate command, now we will first select it doesn't matter what you select first, you can select the other one first. Select the inside surface of this hole in the fan that will be sitting on top of the shaft, and then obviously the body of the shaft. It's going to ask again what's the relationship you want these two surfaces to have. We'll say it's concentric, the same thing we did for the fan and the stand, which is basically the circles of the hole and the circle of the shaft. The centers of these two circles are in the same place, so we'd say concentric. It's already pre-selected. We just say okay, this is what we need. Now that you see, obviously the fan is going way too far back, so you just drag it out like this. The fan is locked in place, but we still need to lock it in the other dimension so that it doesn't move out or in like it's doing so in this case scenario. Don't need to lock it in the rotation department, so it rotates, but we do need to lock it in this direction, in this axis. This is basically the z-axis. If you look here, this is the z-axis. Anyway, what you do is simply, I think you should just move the fan far back away and do this. Zoom in. We need to look into that hole. There's a end to that hole. There's a back that we need to be able to see and access. There we go. I see it. That back end of the hole. Click that. It's selected. Phase 3. And now we do the same with this face of the shaft, because that back end of the hole will obviously contact this face. We click here, and now it's both of these are merged together. So it's asking what kind of relationship you want these two faces. We say coincident. We want them to be touching each other. We want them to be making contact with each other. We say, okay, this is what we want. And now the shaft is here. The fan is mounted. Again, like I said, if you have the shaft or the motor made in such a way that the shaft was smaller actually in the original design that we made, you can just go and increase the size of the shaft by using that tree and the value. The second problem I encountered that I designed and I removed was the fact that the fan itself, the blades of the fan were too large. They were too big to fit into this shroud, so they were clipping through the shroud. So again, to fix that, let me show you how you fix that. You simply go to the fan blades, the file that we slaved, and in the tree of the fan blades, there is, you scroll down until you reach this one, this plane. You see that this plane is sitting at the tip of the fan blade. This plane was basically used by us to set the height of the fan. So what you're going to do is click here and then edit feature. In edit feature, its value is most likely going to be 350. What you're going to do is decrease it to 200. That's what this does. This height of this plane that's appearing here, highlighted, will, if I just deselect that or select something else, this plane will decrease the height. You'll just say, okay, it'll take us a few seconds to process apply all the operations, and then the fan will shrink in size. Basically, the blades will be smaller in this case, so they fit perfectly in that. And this is one of the positives of having this here in the assembly, that you can just manage or control the individual components, their sizes, and etc. Even during the assembly process, just in case you've made a mistake previously. This we're going to select the move command and the rotate component. In the rotate, we're going to rotate one of these. Okay, what we need. Say, okay, this is the rotation. We go back to the mate command. Don't worry about the fan size. Even if you do it later, doesn't matter. After you assemble it, you can change both these, the shaft length and the fan height of the fan blade. You can simply go and decrease the size in their individual trees. So the first number that usually appears in those trees, once you start editing those, will be the number of the height that you need to change for the shaft and the height of the fan. Firstly, we select mate command. Now that we're in the mate command, we will select the edge of this. This edge is selected. It's saying it's an edge. It recognizes this edge, and we select the shaft secondly. Now it aligns them both and says, what do you want these two surfaces, this edge and this shaft, to have what's the relation should be. You say the concentric is already selected, and you say, okay, this is what I want. After that, you basically need to touch this surface, contact with surface with this surface. So you select this surface, regardless which one you select first, and you select this one, and it contacts it and asks you what should be their relation. You say coincident, meaning they're both making contact. Say okay. Now you see that in this case scenario, obviously I've already decreased the height of the fan, but in your case scenario, you will have this fan moving out. It'll have its fins flipping through this and coming out from the back side, so basically colliding with the. Again, we do the same procedure with this. We click on this edge, selects the edge, and then you click on the shaft. It'll ask what kind of relationship you want these to have. Concentric, both the centers of the circles are at the same place. And then you basically just say, hold and drag the, let me just hold and drag the fan shroud in such a way that it makes contact. You can see it making contact with the rear shroud, and there you go. Completed. The grill is complete, the fan is complete, buttons, the motor housing, the everything is in place as it should be, and looks very nice. Thank you for watching.